Through until 4, you're talking with Amanda Blair.
Well, I'm quite happy to have this free advice, everyone. Look, don't worry about you, actually. I'm going to be quite selfish and just use this session for my own personal gain because I have no retirement plan. There, I have said it. Like, okay, I've got a bit of super or something, whatever. And then one of these financial advisors, when I worked at So Average FM, they told me that I had to, like, put all this money into super, and then I put all this money into super, and then I got taxed. And then I ended up, like, it was just a disaster. So how often does this happen where people get bad advice and you end up just going, why did I do that?
Unfortunately, in the past it has happened too many times, and I've heard that story too many times. You know, it's something that in any industry it occurs, but when it comes to your money, it just hurts that little bit more, doesn't it?
It's awful.
If someone ruins your hair, it's not a big issue.
Grows out, whatever.
But when they cost you more tax than what you should have, you know, the whole idea is to see the right advisor. Now, you need to click with them personally, but you also need to check their credentials and make sure that they are professionals.
And not getting some sort of massive kickback from whatever product they're selling.
Absolutely. Commission-based advisors are one set of advisors that have been around for years. The old insurance salesman, look, there was nothing wrong with them back then. They were the best that was available. But these days the industry has come a long way, thank goodness. And there's some really good advisors out there, and I do tell people to seek good advice because it can put you ahead leaps and bounds, can make you retire earlier. There's just so many strategies, Amanda.
Now, Pete, can I ask you a question? And this is, I always love it when I take it right back down to basics because I think that often people are really nervous to ask questions about banking and credit unions and finance and all that sort of stuff because they think somehow that people like you two are going to think that we're stupid by asking the questions. But I am not afraid to go where no one else has gone and ask the questions. What is the difference between a bank and a credit union?
A bank is owned by shareholders who invest their money into the shares of that organisation, and the bank then runs to return dividends and profits to those shareholders. A credit union is actually owned by its members. We're a mutual organisation. So we run our business still to make money, a profit, to invest in the business, but that all goes back into returning services and better branches and facilities for our members. So it's a cultural difference of ownership where we have our members who come to us as customers, but they own us as well, and they feel different about it, and our staff feel different about providing support and advice and products.
And can you be competitive with the banks?
Absolutely. We are today, and we intend to be going forward. We don't have to generate enough profits like the super profits the major banks do to return dividends to shareholders. We can run our business at a lower level of profit because we have more competitive prices, more competitive products, and return value back to our members through better services.
Geez, that's quite good, isn't it? Do you think that people sort of don't necessarily understand that? Do you think they sort of think that credit they don't get the difference?
Well, a lot of people in South Australia do.
I do now, though, thank God.
In South Australia, we have the highest penetration of the population in the country of members of credit unions. So we're quite proud of that, and that's because we go out and tell people who we are and what we do and go about it. But there's still a large proportion of the population who don't know they can join a credit union. But it's easy. Anybody can join a credit union, and we certainly would look forward to anybody making an inquiry at our branch or our call centre about becoming a member and taking advantage of the great products and services we have.
And so say if someone, again, because, you know, I'm using this session for my own gain, if someone like me who banks with one of the major banks who seems to continue to put up interest rates even though they don't have to, can I come to you again, Sal, you'd hate me, with literally my shoebox of everything and go, here, you know, this is what I have on my mortgage and this is what I have on an investment loan and whatever else I have. Do you then, like the banks pride themselves on, say that they are competitive? Are credit unions competitive, or is People's Choice as competitive as a bank?
Absolutely. There's no other way to answer that. We are absolutely competitive with the banks, and sometimes we're actually a lot better. But the whole idea is that people don't actually realise that we're around. And you know, I've got friends of mine who have asked me, what does a credit union do?
Yeah, totally.
And I've got friends of mine who have come back from the UK and said to me, you know, where do I do my banking? And I've said, well, how about People's Choice Credit Union? And they've said, but that's not a bank.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's an understanding thing, I think, and Adelaide, South Australia, gets it more than most areas around Australia, which is great.
Do you reckon that's because of the credit union Christmas pageant too? Like
that certainly helps.
But that as a branding exercise is actually fantastic.
Well, it's a great community commitment. We helped save the pageant and keep it here in South Australia in the mid-90s, and it's certainly a passionate part of our bringing to life our engagement with the community. Credit unions do a lot of that, and we're more genuine in how we engage and offer our services to the public, but also support the communities we operate in. And importantly, the public believe us. We're there, as I said earlier, our members are our owners, and we can't spin. We've got to actually look them in the eye and talk to them about them as our owners.
And what sort of accountability do you have to the credit union members? You know, like if you had shares in the National Bank, for instance.
We have all the same obligations of reporting to our members, financial accounts. We're regulated by the same regulatory body, APRA, the Australian Prudential Regulatory Authority. We have the same compliance obligations across all of our products and services. So other than legal form, there is no difference in the obligations that we have to meet our members' expectations of being run prudentially sound, providing great products and services, but we do it in a way that is genuine.
Do you call everyone that comes in boss or anything? Have you thought about that?
No, we call them our valued members, and in a lot of cases...
I reckon that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Lock that one away for your marketing
In a lot of
department.
cases, our members and staff operate on a very personal relationship basis because they've built
it's
a
community
relationship
stuff.
over a long time.
Yeah.
And there's a genuine trust and factor of engagement there.
And so do you get like reports and everything? Like a shareholder would get in a bank?
We have our annual report that's produced on our financial accounts. We have an obligation to do that, and we present that to our members in an annual general meeting every year. And importantly, the members get to elect the directors of the board. They get to have a say.
That's all right, isn't it? I'm loving this. We've got a call coming through about retirement income. So, Sal, you can just go in to you. You know, I can call up and make an appointment, and I can give you my shoebox, and you can sort me out.
That's correct.
And do you do traditional things like retirement bank accounts and stuff? Is that because a lot of people like to feel secure? I think, like with just basic banking.
We do everything.
Yeah.
Bottom line is we've got your ordinary, we've got a Club 55 account for people over 55. It gives the deeming rate, the government deeming rates, which is a lot more than your ordinary accounts. So it gives them a higher rate of return because they're over 55. So it's just, we're just being nice. But it encourages our older members to stay with us.
We've had a call. Judy wanted to know, she wanted to ask you, and it's a hard question, but just an approximate ballpark figure. What is a decent amount of money to retire on? See, but it depends. It depends
how
on your
long
health,
is a
your
piece
age. I
of
know,
string.
how you want to live. Do you want to go overseas?
That's right.
Look, I've got some girlfriends who would say that a couple of $1 million wouldn't do it. I've also got some girlfriends who could probably get by on $100,000. It really is an individual thing, and it's also dependent upon how long you're going to live.
Yeah.
If you only live a couple of years, well, then you don't really need that much. But if you're going to live till the ripe old age of 100, well, then you need to have tucked away enough savings in order to get there.
And Amanda, most people don't want to reduce their lifestyle when they retire.
Exactly.
We all have a higher aspiration to live the life we could become used to. And
I
it's a
want to
very
be tap
important-
dancing every day. Don't worry about that.
It's a very important question to answer. How
Yeah.
do you want to live your life post-retirement? How long do you want to live your life? And that's where the conversation starts with a specialist financial advisor like Sally. Understand how you want to live your life, how long you want to live, and then you start to plan
Yeah.
for retirement.
And you could look at things too, I'd imagine, like, looking at the family home and say there'd be some people that would come to you at my age and younger who would say, okay, I've got kids, I want to stay in the family home, that's my main asset. Maybe I one day want to pay that off. And then when I'm 65, when hopefully the children have left home, then I can sell it. So is that part of a retirement plan too?
Definitely. We look at right now, we look at tomorrow, and we look at 10, 20 years down the track. It is an entire plan. We look at it in its entirety. So, for example, I've got a lot of clients at the moment who are the golden age of 55 and they're still in the workforce, and they're taking advantage of a transition to retirement pension, for example. Now, that sounds a bit strange, but it's essentially moving your super, having early access to your super to get an income from it. Now, that can help you to pay off your family home in a really tax-effective manner, so you can quite possibly retire earlier.
Jeez.
So there's a lot of different strategies. I call them hairy strategies, but that's what I do on a daily basis. I actually go through these strategies with the members of People's Choice, and we actually show them how that can work for them so that they can either retire earlier or retire with more under their belt.
How great. Now, Grant is a member. How are you, Grant?
Hello, Amanda. How are you today?
Very well. I should show you some respect as you're a part owner of a credit union.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how I live with myself being as good as I am.
So you obviously like the whole concept of it.
Yeah, oh, yes. I've been with a couple of banks when I was younger, and now that I'm a little bit older and I'd like to think wiser, I've moved over to a credit union because they're in the ballpark of where I need them to be.
That's good.
And being a member, it gives me a little bit more of I can vote on different bits and pieces and things like that. So
whether or not you're happy with the novelty money boxes and stuff like that, that would be quite good. Can I get a say in things like that?
Probably not directly like that, Amanda. Our board of directors do sit at a higher level of governance and look after the business overall, but certainly, as Grant said, he can influence the direction by coming to an annual general meeting, asking questions, hearing the responses and engaging with the directors and the management of the credit union.
Hey, good on you guys. We're going to have you back again next month, I think, for another finance segment. If you've got any questions, just lock them away, and when you hear that Peter Evers, Managing Director of People's Choice Credit Union, and Sally Colbig, who's a Senior Financial Advisor, are coming on, make sure you contact us. We'll be back after the news headlines. We are going to be talking to the gorgeous Annie Payne,